Good morning to you once again. You are looking live over the False River. We've got blue skies and blue water, 78 degrees. Feels like about 80 degrees when you factor in just a little touch of humidity with an elevated dew point. Yesterday, 91 degrees, right on the money with where we typically are this time of year, and 69 the morning low. The first time we've made it down to the 60s, going all the way back to June 11th before the early part of the summer. There you see over in Opelousas and I-49, a complex of thunderstorms that's now starting to break apart and fizzling out as it drifts down to the south along the I-49. More showers back up north of Alexandria. I think those two are going to start to fall apart, but eventually we are going to have a 20% chance here in the local Baton Rouge area. Not that much going on in the Gulf either. It looks relatively quiet there. So we take you over to the Futurecast, and it's this weak trough parked off to the north, and you'll see a little flicker of green on your screen as we get to the day into the afternoon, but most of us appear to stay dry. This next front looks like it's going to retract to the north. You see it start to happen there, so we barely get any influence from that front. We get a wind shift, that's about it, and we're going to see the temperatures basically stay the same, but there's going to be a more significant front behind it, and the hope there is that we're actually going to get a more significant cool down later on in the 7-day forecast. As for the Futurecast graph, it's going to show highs in the lower 90s for today, and as we get to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a couple of isolated non-severe thunderstorms. I would say the majority of the viewing area is going to miss out on that, but maybe just enough to wet some parts of our viewing area. This has been the difference over the past few days. The deep purples, the deep tropical moisture out to the south, and the more dry, stable air over us, but it's not going to be that way forever. We're going to see the moisture pump right back into the area as we go to the weekend. Now, that doesn't mean that our rain chances significantly go up, because for the most part they won't, but what will go up, that's going to be the peak heat indices. As we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're kind of flirting, kind of hovering around that triple-digit mark. And we're not going to need any kind of heat alerts or heat advisories, but still, over the weekend, just FYI, a little bit more heat and humidity is expected. Things starting to heat up in the tropical Atlantic with a 70% chance that this wave becomes the next named storm, and that'll be the G storm for Gabrielle. A lot of the models have it actually following the typical path of the September tropical formations, which is right in this pink area right here. So hopefully this next storm is going to be a fish storm, and hopefully everything else that follows that is going to be the same thing. As you see, we've checked off just before Gabrielle, and meantime we're going to see hopefully no more names crossed off this list, but we still have a long way to go. If you look at our chart here, we are getting closer and closer to the top of the graph, the top of the pyramid, which usually happens right around September 10th, September 11th. So we're knocking on the door of that. Hopefully the Gulf stays quiet in the meantime. There's your 20% chance with a high temperature of 91 degrees. Then as we get to tonight, our low temperatures getting down to around 71. The moon getting bigger and brighter out there as we're getting closer to this weekend's full moon. And speaking of the weekend, a 30% chance on Sunday and Monday. Best chance of rain at the end of the 7-day.